Good morning. This is the time and place for the Planning Hearing Officer hearing for January 11th, 2023. My name is Milka Toledo, and I will be conducting the hearing as hearing officer. The Planning Hearing Officer meeting is being broadcast live on Glendale TV, viewable on Spectrum Cable, Channel 6, and AT&T UVerse, Channel 99. Meetings are also streamed live in high definition on the city's website, glendaleca.gov/live, on youtube.com/myglendale, and on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire devices using a free app called ScreenWeave and choosing Glendale TV from the menu. Meetings are also archived on the City of Glendale City website for viewing anytime at glendaleca.gov/agendas. For public comments and questions during the meeting, please call 818-937-8100. City staff will be submitting the questions and comments in real time to the appropriate person. This morning, we have one case involving discretionary permit applications. It's a conditional use permit. Case number PCUP 2207-818, property addressed as 300 East Colorado Street. Anytime Fitness is the business name. The hearing will proceed as follows. I will read the description of the application/request. I will read the reports received from other city departments and other letters or communications from interested parties. The case planner will make a brief overview of the case, give analysis, and make a recommendation. The applicant will then be connected in by phone, or in this case in person, stating both name and address, and will be asked to present the case in a 15-minute time limit. Others in support or in opposition to the application, interested parties will be connected as well. If they're on the phone, they will give their comments, again clearly stating both name and address within a 3-minute time limit, or if they're here in person, they can come up to the podium and present their comments, again within a 3-minute time limit. Lastly, the applicant will be given the opportunity to make closing comments if desired in response to testimonies given by preceding speakers within a 5-minute time limit. The hearing will be closed, and then the case will be taken under submission. If the evidence presented in the application and at the hearing meets the required findings set forth in the Glendale Municipal Code, then the project can be either approved or approved with conditions. If the findings of fact are not evident, then the request will be denied. Decisions. After the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing and will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at this hearing or by submitting written responses and have provided their name and mailing address. The date of the decision will be the date appearing on the letter. Records of decisions for all projects will be posted online on the Planning Division website. Appeals. Under the appeal provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30.62 of the Glendale Municipal Code, the decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the date of the decision. Anyone wishing to appeal must contact the case planner to obtain forms and information regarding the appeal process and submittal. Public notice. The notification of this hearing was accomplished by the use of public notices, which were mailed to property owners and occupants located within 500 feet of the subject property, physically posted on the site in question, and placed in the local newspaper. If you wish to speak, please write your name and address on one of the speaker forms that have been provided by the front door and submit it to our planning staff. I would also like to inform everyone that the official proceedings of the Planning Hearing Officer hearing are being televised live and may be viewed online on the city's website. So let's move on to our first and only item on the agenda, which is the conditional use permit located at 300 East Colorado Street, case number PCUP 2207-818. The description is that the applicant is requesting approval of a conditional use permit to continue operation of an existing 4,988 square foot gym. Anytime Fitness is the name of the business, and it is located on a 16,460 square foot lot in the Downtown Specific Plan, East Broadway District. It was previously entitled by conditional use permit case number PCUP 1703-425, which expired May 26, 2022. And the case is, the environmental determination was exempt from CEQA under section 15301, existing facilities, because the uses and buildings are existing, and the property does not appear to be eligible for historic designation at the federal, state, or local level, and therefore is not considered a historic resource under CEQA. I will turn the case over now to the case planner, Nikki. She will provide a presentation regarding analysis of the case, a brief analysis and the findings, and also just to confirm, we did not receive any departmental comments associated with the continued operation of the existing gym, so I have no comments received from any other city departments, and I have no public comments at this time either, correct?
That's correct.
Perfect. Then I will turn it over to Nikki Lariola, our planning associate. Thank you.
Thank you, Planning Hearing Officer Toledo. As you mentioned, my name's Nikki. I'm a planning associate here with the City of Glendale. I'm presenting today a conditional use permit application by Anytime Fitness to, as you mentioned, Milka, approve the continuation of an existing gym in the the Downtown Specific Plans East Broadway District. As you mentioned, this was previously entitled by a conditional use permit application that expired in May of last year. We already talked a little bit about the site. It's located in the Downtown Specific Plans East Broadway District at the very south end of the Downtown Specific Plan. As you can see the red star on the map to the right. It's bordered to the south by moderate density residential R1650 zoning. And the second chapter of the Downtown Specific Plan indicates that the East Broadway District is intended to support that moderate density residential zoning with mixed uses that are appropriate, including gyms and health clubs, which are conditionally permitted in the East Broadway District, as you can see in the table that can be found in the third chapter of the Downtown Specific Plan. Gyms and health clubs are actually permitted by right if they existed prior to June 1st, 2003. However, Anytime Fitness, as we mentioned, was established in 2017. Prior to that, it was a Payless shoe store, which was there starting in 1983, and it was originally developed as a service station in 1938. There's an accessory ground sign on site that was installed and permitted and installed by a retailer in 1954, and it's been refaced for Anytime Fitness. And as mentioned before, there are no changes being proposed to the site, to the building, or to the business use. In addition, the parking as it stands and all the facilities are code compliant, and as we mentioned before, there were no comments by other departments in regard to this application. Other applicable codes and policies here include the Downtown Specific Plan and the Findings and Facts section of the Conditional Use Permits chapter of the Glendale Municipal Code. That's GMC 30.42.030. And again, staff has determined that this would be categorically exempt from CEQA, or the California Environmental Quality Act, under section 15301, as this is an existing facility. And in terms of the findings, the analysis of compliance with the necessary findings begins on page 3 of the staff report that can be found at glendaleca.gov/agendas. Generally, everything here is existing and no changes being proposed, so we expect that this would continue to be consistent with all applicable plans. There are no outstanding code enforcement issues on the property, and again, no departments have raised any concerns, so we don't expect continuation of this use to be detrimental to the general welfare or to otherwise adversely affect the surrounding area. Again, public and private facilities, including the parking, have been code compliant and adequate as they exist on site up to this point. And since no changes are being proposed, we expect that these facilities will continue to be adequate moving forward. As such, staff does recommend approval of the conditional use permit with the conditions that are attached to the staff report. Again, the link to the staff report is at the bottom of this slide. The applicant is here to answer any questions in person. And as of now, we have not received any public comment.
Thank you, Nikki. At this time, then, I'll open the public portion of the hearing and ask the consultant or project manager to come forward. Alex Wu. Were you the applicant?
The representative, ma'am.
Representative for the applicant? Okay. Okay, state your name and address for the record, and have a few general questions, and maybe you could just briefly highlight some of the points in your findings.
Will do.
So,
All right.
please.
Good morning, Ms. Toledo. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
My name is Alex Wu with Genesis Consulting, Inc. Our mailing address is 3435 Wilshire Boulevard, Suite 1030, LA 90010. Before I start my presentation, I would like to thank Ms. Loriella for all her time and assistance with this project. This morning, I have the pleasure of representing Mr. Cho, the owner-operator of Anytime Fitness. Anytime Fitness is a boutique gym where the members have access to the gym 365 days, 24 hours a day with their personalized key fob. Many of the members really enjoy the ability to work out whenever they want and wherever they want, as there are facilities all over the globe. Since its opening back in 2017, they have garnered great fanfare and continues to grow in popularity. The use has clearly exhibited that it is compatible with the adjacent uses and has been a good neighbor for over 5 years. Even though it has been financially tough due to the pandemic, Mr. Cho has not wavered from his mission of providing a top-notch fitness gym for the residents of Glendale. As we start the new year, he has launched new programs and is currently in discussion to improve the facility. We feel that the approval to allow the continued use will allow Mr. Cho to continue serving his current and future members to come. We have reviewed the recommended conditions of approval and concur with them. At this time, did you want me to go over the conditions of approval individually, Ms. Toledo?
You don't need to go over the conditions that are suggested, but I do have a question regarding that. In fact, thank you for bringing that up. Regarding the conditions, have you read through the conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you agree with the conditions?
Yes, ma'am. We concur with the conditions as stated by staff. We do have one conditions that we would like to see if you'll be able to consider. It's condition number 11, I believe. Let me read that for you. Condition number 11 states, 12. That the authorization granted herein shall be valid for a period of 10 years until January 11, 2033, at which time a reapplication must be made. We would like to see if the hearing officer will be willing to consider issuing a full grant due to the fact that they've exhibited impeccable track record. They have garnered really popularity with the residents and the members. They have not had any issues with the adjacent residents or any neighbors, and they don't anticipate vacating this premises, and they have another 20-year lease, I believe 10 with another 10-year option lease. So if at all possible, if that would be something that you may consider at this time. So that is what we would like to see if it would be available for review. Once again, we have reviewed all the conditions and concur with all the conditions.
Okay. Can you just briefly highlight some of the findings from your end?
As stated by Ms. L'Oreal, the location currently serves as the gym, previously being a Payless Shoe Stores, and it's been there since 2017. And they have done, it's been a good addition to the neighborhood. A lot of the residents that our members do tend to walk to the facility. That's why we have not had any issues with the parking or the parking lot or any overflow into any of the residential area. And I think that it speaks to the fact that this is a neighborhood-friendly, orientated business, and we continue to operate as such. So we are very sensitive and mindful of our adjacent residents, and we have not had any issues. Like I stated, the location has been very easily accessible by our members, being that it's located on Colorado and it's highly visible. And they really do like the fact that it's an easy in and out. It's just within walking distance from the Americana Mall and the Galleria, and also enjoys some of the amenities. So I think it's a really good amenity and an addition to the adjacent retails in the immediate area.
I have a few questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So, do you anticipate no changes in operations since the last approval of the conditional use permit?
No, ma'am.
Nothing has,
No,
so it's
no.
always been a 24/7 type of operation since 2017?
Yes.
Okay,
That's how we came on board back in 2017, and those were the exact same material that was provided at the 2017 hearing as well.
okay. So no changes in terms of operation.
No, ma'am.
How many employees are working at the facility?
So it varies. So we have our general manager, we have an assistant manager, and then we have personal trainers. So it depends if the personal trainers have clients that are scheduled for that time. So it kind of varies throughout the day. But any given day, you will have probably 2 to 3. But if you do have a couple of the personal trainers that are scheduled to meet with their clients, it could be up to maybe 5.
And in terms of the patrons or clients, are they walk-in, are walk-ins or is it members only?
So basically, you need a fob to be able to enter into the facility. But obviously, if you're a new member or if you're looking into just checking out the facility, if you do visit the gym during the normal business hours, then there will be someone that will be able to let them in at the front door.
But if someone were to want to use the actual equipment, then they would be members typically?
Yes, ma'am, because
Okay.
you will need the personalized fob
Perfect.
to gain access
Perfect.
into the facility. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you've already confirmed that you agree with all the conditions or suggested conditions. You've identified one that you would like to have considered, so we'll look into that.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you would like to add at this time?
No, ma'am.
No? And then you mentioned the parking that's there now is pretty, it's adequate
Yes, ma'am.
for the patrons. It sounds like a lot of patrons walk.
We do have a lot of
To the
patrons
facility?
who walk because they figure, hey, you know what, I could just walk there
Right.
and then walk over to the Galleria, to the Americano, to any of the adjacent amenities. So has been really a good complementary addition to the community.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Mr. Wu. I don't have any other questions at this time.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Do we have any callers?
No, we haven't had any public calls.
Okay, so no callers, and we don't have any email correspondence or anything associated with the request. Okay, so what I'll do at this time, I'm going to close the public portion of the hearing. There is no other speakers here in the audience, and we don't have any callers. I will take the case under submission and render a decision in writing. So let me conclude my remarks. So I guess there's nothing else to add, Mr. Wu? Okay. So this hearing is now officially closed, and thank you for your participation. It is January 11th, 2023 at 9:53 in the morning.